Okay, yeah, here we go. I've been given the job to take this flyer that we designed for this revival and then place it into a rearrange it for a banner on our website. It's going to advertise the same revival. So a couple of things you have to worry about. Print designing, you always export in CYMK. That's cyan, magenta, and yellow, and the K stands for black. It's some weird word, I forgot what it was for black. But those paper is white, so you have to create black. But designing for a website, your computer screen is already black, so all you need is a RGB, red, blue, green, green, blue, whatever it is. You need those colors to make white and different things. So you just have to convert it, keep that in mind. Obviously also here I'm making it's 1920 by 500, and obviously it's not going to be proportionally wise. I'm going to have to copy all these elements from the original PSD file onto a new 1920 by 500 PSD file at 72 DPI. That's the other thing. For print graphics, you're going to output at 300 or more DPI, but for website graphics it's going to be 72 DPI because that's screen resolution. So here I am going and copying the jail background, and the background I'm going to copy that and paste that onto the file, the new PSD file. And also this is an example right here that shows you that it's not going to be proportional. No matter how I resize this, it's going to look kind of cheesy. You can't tell what that stuff is. It could be, I don't know, scaffolding of a building. You don't know what it is. So what I'm going to have to do is go get my original picture of the jail out of my folder and just drop that right into the document. And that's going to be a better deal for me because it's not altered at all. In fact, look how small it is. I stretch it out, and I'm going to be able to stretch it from east to west like this and just fit it in there, and use my double click that, and then use my arrow keys and select tool to move that up and down to the right spot. Also, I'm going to go back to the original file. I'm going to select the layer that I want, which this is the color gradient layer. You're going to select Control A and then Control C. This will copy all the contents of that layer. Go back to the other layer and then Control V and paste it right back down. Now all you gotta do is kind of memorize the settings here for the blending method. It's color and about 70 something % just to color that gel background. I'm just going to stretch these out and make sure that yellow is somewhere in the middle of that window. I like the blue on top better, so I'm going to go with the blue on top. I kind of half and half it, and we'll go back and add in the lens flare later. Okay, so then I'm going to add that layer, brightness contrast layer. Let's go back to the other one. I remember the settings for it, and so it's like 68 and 100, something like that. So I'm going to slide those there, and then have the nice contrast look to it, more dramatic feel, and you can better define edges and outlines and different things. So that's all. You can't really copy and paste adjustment layer back down. So I'm going to go back over here, hit Control D, which is going to deselect everything. Then I'm going to collect a couple more layers that I want. I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to copy Control A, Control C, go back over to the original document, Control V, put it down, and then try and remember the settings for each one. This one I think is just soft light, period. And then I'm going to fit it into there. I could do this. It's not working so much that way, but I'm going to hit soft light. I'm just going to flip it from being a portrait orientation to be landscape and just fit it right in there. They're just background details. It's very minute. You can't even barely tell it's there, but if it's not there, you can tell. It's kind of weird like that. I'm just going to rotate 90 degrees and then squish everything in there till it fits, and do the exact same thing with the other file. The other layer. This is like an overlay layer that's down to like 20 something %. I have it here. I'm just going to go ahead and rotate it again counterclockwise, and bam, squish it in there. Excuse me, and everything's all taken care of. So pretty awesome, pretty amazing. Try and control your pulse rate, alright? So that's that. Alright, here's a nice zoomed in view of the whole little thing. There you go. You see it's got all the drama in it. So now what we have is this girl jumping up in the air. She's the main element of the main flyer design. But when we do this kind of thing, you kind of lose her because she can't be jumping out off screen or whatever. You want to just see her, like, her torso. So she's coming from the main design element to being kind of like just a design element on the side. So here's me. I'm just figuring out where I want to put her, and I'm not going to take the shadow, the complex shadow we did last time. I'm just going to right click and do the normal shadow. Not right click, but double click on the layer, get this dialog up, hit the inbred kind of built-in drop shadow, and make a few adjustments just so it looks kind of similar, but it's not going to be the main design element, so it doesn't have to be. I'm not even going to take the blur over. I'm just going to do it like that. So there you go. Adjust the light direction and everything so it looks like it's coming from the window. There you have it. And so that's going to be our background, the simple part of the background we're going to do. Save it as a PSD file. Not a PSD, as a JPEG, and then I'm going to take it into another program, export it, exporting as a JPEG, there you go, and that's all good. I'm going to close up Photoshop and save my changes and different things, and I'm going to open it up in Corel Photo Paint to add the awesome lens flare. Here we have it. I'm going to go to Effects, Camera, Lens Flare. And that's that's J.J. Abrams. I'm going to dial it down a little bit. You see I'm just adjusting a little bit at a time here. I want to get the lens flare to come out of the window. So it's obviously boosting the light, but it's not also overbearing. So that's good right there. Go ahead and save that. Corel has these new dialogues that come up. It doesn't just save it, but you can adjust all kinds of different things when you save it. But that's not important. We're just going to save as is, the format, the resolution, and all that stuff's going to be the same. Then we're going to close this out and open up Corel Draw. We're going to do the same thing with Corel Draw. It's now set up kind of like Photoshop, so we're going to open a new document, switching to pixels, 1920 by 500. New document, 72 DPI. All right, 72 DPI. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to copy and paste elements off the original document. I just click and dragged our new background onto there. I'm going to go Arrange, and then Center of Page, and then Done. There we are. Right click, lock it down so that we can't mess with it too much. And I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste other design elements down on top of here. And I'm going to start with the title. Instead of just making this a little blocky thing, since the orientation has changed, I now have the ability to do this like one line, like a banner. Read from right to left, taking up only the top, quarter or third of the page. And so that's what I'm going to do here, and make some little adjustments to it. I'm gonna forget about the outline fading highlight effect there. I'm just gonna get these, align them to the top. It's real easy with Corel Draw. You just select all three, and then you can hit T, and it'll align them all to the top, the highest thing, like the top of the L, top of the O, top of the F. You can do bottom, but sometimes the P and the G are a little different. You can do center, but because of the P's and the G's, it won't center correctly. But you find that it's most likely the top is the best way, and it looks pretty good to me, so we're just gonna leave it this way. I'm regrouping everything, so there's going to be the orange text with the black background on the bottom, and then there's going to be white, like transparent text with a white outline on top, perfectly centered on top of each other. And I'm adjusted. I think I turned out with the black background, or the back outline, being at an 8, and the line in front being like a 2 or 3, and that it seemed to me pretty clean cut, and it looked good. I have to make the exclamation mark. I decided to put an exclamation mark in there, so I just, with my eyedropper paint bucket tool, grabbing the color off the text, I'm gonna put the background just like I had before, 8.0 behind fill, and then duplicate it, center both objects, turn them, make the top one a white line. I'm not gonna put a drop shadow under this one because it's on top of black, and I don't think anyone's really gonna notice. This is going to be simpler than the flyer, because you're on the website, you already have the contact information. So this banner is just to tell you what it is and when it is, like the days and the times, and because it's different than our regular services. So I'm just going to do some rearranging of the things. I think I'm going to slow this down when I get to the gradient fill for the evangelist name. Alright, so with Corel you can hit that fill button on the bottom right corner next to the pen dialog. And you can put a preset gradient fill in there, or you can make your own like I am right now. So I'm clicking one of the nodes, I'm making like the right side, I'm making it a yellowy orange. I'm keeping the middle one white. I'm going to go click the left color here and make that a orangey orange. So it's kind of like a subtle fade, but with the white in the middle, give kind of a metallic appearance. And we're going to do that. I'm going to move these gradient adjusters out a little bit. I'm going to make it a 90-degree twist. When I go to adjust the level, it kind of snaps in place there, and we have that. So I'm going to give that a try and hit OK, see what that looks like. And it seems to me like there's not enough color in it, so I'm going to double click the dialog box at the bottom again, and then readjust these gradient sliders here so the white is very skinny and in the middle, and I get a little better effect with that, the normal outline. Then I'm going to go ahead and put my mandatory drop shadow or glow behind it, and we'll be done with that. That's the Gibbs, that's the only thing special there. I'm deciding not to center everything. Sometimes centering is like what everybody wants to do, but professionally, you look at things do look better aligned to the left or the right. And if you can align everything, then it's very easy for the eye to travel down the design and read and recognize what it is they're looking at. So centering isn't always the best idea. The original flyer runs it down the center. That's fine because the whole design is down the center. But banners and sometimes flyers too. You'll see later examples of stuff I do that I don't always center everything. I do align it. I think aligning is more genuine and has a better effect sometimes. It's easier on the eyes. I decided for the days and times on the right to just make it a block area. Off to the right, fill up this little space over here. Kind of like the girls fill up the space on the left. Now this is going to kind of fill up the space on the right. So I'm just going to pop it out by putting a black box underneath it. And Corel Draw, if you take the shape tool and you grab one of the nodes off of a freshly made rectangle, it automatically bevels or chamfers or whatever it is, it chamfers the edges to that circular smooth off feel. It's kind of cool effect. I'm going to take off the black outline, make it transparent, and of course hit it multiply and adjust the transparency until I get a look that I want. Well, that's basically it. So just make sure you save it as RGB 72 DPI 1920 by 500 and continue on from there. As you can see, I went back and I redid the September 18th and 22nd in the same block script as the title, and it looked more punched out. So make sure you watch the other videos. Talk to you later.